guys, welcome back. Long story short, I am really sucking at this today, but long story short, Eris got back in. Um, I've been tripping over her lately, and we all know her story. Zeus wanted a perfect wedding. Zeus wanted a perfect wedding. I'm sorry, but anyhow, Zeus wanted a perfect wedding, so he told Eris, Discordia, whatever name you want to use, you can't come in. You are absolutely not coming in. And she's a goddess of chaos. And she was like, yeah, okay. So she sneaks in and she throws a golden apple down and chaos ensues. And she's like, because that's her divine role. That's her holy function. And that's the thing with a chaos god or goddess, that's their divine role, holy function. We know it with dealing with Loki, and we know that up close sometimes you don't appreciate their gifts of chaos, but the longer you work with them, the more adaptive you become. And you can look at the story from what's the basic moral point of view, is that he had this unreasonable expectation of perfectionism, and there is no such thing. If it's a wedding, there's already going to be chaos present. I can guarantee you. And if you're going to have a family of such strong personalities together, and alcohol is going to be involved, it's like you planned a party for chaos. It was inevitable that chaos would arrive. She was already there when you started planning. And I'm getting, yeah, back here. And that's the thing. Chaos is in everything. And if you deal with Loki, you know it. And it isn't fun when Chaos God breaks something and then they look really sad, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. I was just standing here. It's fine. It's fine. I know you break things. It's okay. You don't do it on purpose. You're you, and they can't help it. They break things, but you have to remember too, things do break on their own. It's not always your chaos deity, though sometimes it is, and sometimes. And I thought about how I've been tripping over ears lately, and I thought about how I would not want Loki thrown out of somewhere, even though I know he's a handful, even though he can get on my last nerve and make me cry, even though sometimes his chaos is way too much. The chaos gods need love, they do. They need love and they need a place to call home. They need to feel safe. That's why chaos gods in general, when you do treat them well and you do genuinely love them, they will fall over themselves to be with you. They absolutely adore you. You're their human. They're human. And they'll come and they'll be really close to you. It's why I can't get rid of Odin. And I'm not flattering myself. Odin is a trickster deity. Most people won't work with him. Most people have common sense that aren't trying to get into Valhalla. They won't work with them. And when you will work with them and you accept the fact that they're going to trick you, you aren't excluded, then they're okay. I know Mammon tricked me into something yesterday, which is how Eris came up. And he was like, ooh, meta lesson. You try to keep her out of your life, and here she is. And what are you going to do with her now? And so she was adopted in. And somehow negotiations started, and their whole chaotic family got in, and a lot of Mammon's assorted relatives got in. I'm like, I don't care. We had to talk. I said, at this point, it's chaos levels of deities and individuals. I said, you have to understand, there's no way at this point that I can do any kind of formal magic. I don't in the first place anymore. I just light a candle and I talk to the gods, or I don't light the candle at all. I just talk to the gods. I said, but there's no way it's happening at this point. And I said, I don't want to sound like a really bad teacher, but I said, there's just so many of you now that everybody isn't going to get one-on-one time every day. I said, it's not me trying to be mean, but would feel trite and artificial to line you all up every day and go, hi, 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 hi. How are you? How are you? How are you? I said, it will feel trite and artificial. I said, if you want love, if you want attention, you have to find a way to get my attention. I said, I am not ignoring you on purpose. It's not that I don't love you. It's not that you aren't important. But, sometimes it might be a week. It might be a month. It might be a year before I talk to you. But I said, doesn't mean I don't love you, and want you in my life. It just means that's stroke. And that's how my brain works. So they're all fine. And so we'll have this really informal relationship. She just wanted in. She just wanted in. She wanted something. I get all the chaos gods I've noticed. You get them all, and you get all the trickster spirits, and you get all the death deities, and they're all like, I love you. And then you're seeing a video of someone, dressed they're always dressed in black, and there's like skulls and everything in the background. I'm well aware there's a skull in the background, but you know the type I mean. And they're looking into the camera like the death metal chef, and they're like talking to you about endless suffering and the dark powers of whatever, and you're just looking at them like, okay. You do you. I'm not going to tell you how to practice, but okay. And you're dealing with them, and they're like snuggly, and they want cookies, and they want love and attention, and you're like, not behaving like a chaos deity. But they're usually pretty good. They're usually pretty sweet, all of them. And I thought about Loki being on his own because, like I said, he breaks random stuff, and sometimes he will break your heart, and you will want to wring his little neck. But you accept that when you accept him. You accept that you do not, and I can't emphasize this enough, get an exclusion from his chaos deity duties. You don't get that exclusion. We don't get a free pass. It's like people that wanted to work with Lakebo because they think life will be nothing but fun. Wine women's song fun, not obeying the laws, and they find out he's the worst one of all, and they're just crying, and life is suffering. And I gain like a sense of amusement. It's like just because you serve the trickster doesn't mean you get to go off and have fun, and nothing but fun. They're the teachers. You're like, you should have served somebody else, anybody else. They're the teachers of the pantheon. But we're all settling into each other, and we're discussing stuff. And we were discussing yesterday. I was really battling my urge to go get this game, and I have the money. I have the money. And I said, I just so much chaos has already happened in my life. I had somebody decline a payment, and like I said, Patreon tells us absolutely no exceptions if somebody declines a payment and they're not already in good standing with you, like they haven't already made a payment, block them, because we have to assume they're bad actors. It's just like if you went into a store and you didn't pay for something, what are they going to assume? They're not going to assume you forgot, even if you honestly did. They're going to assume that you stole it. And this person ended up stalking me over it. Seriously, I got stalked, and they kept stalking me here, and they were stalking me on Pinterest, and they were trying to get back onto Patreon. I'm like, no, I don't want your money at this point. And it was weird, guys, because if PayPal, they were saying like the PayPal didn't work or something, but it was weird because if you can't give like to not just me, to anyone through Patreon, there's PayPal. The PayPal tip chart is right there. It's like it's sitting right there. And you can give, other ways. I think Patreon's pretty flexible in payment methods. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they are. So it was just kind of weird, and it felt like a scam. It felt like they were trying to get me to give them information or something. I'm like, no. And they drug Loki into it, but I've had the share of chaos in my life for the year already, and I said to Loki, I said, well, so we might have an adjustment period where Eris getting settled in. And it doesn't mean she's going to become like a flagship member or be talked about a lot. I've said, I think God of the Day is kind of a double-edged sword. I know most of you like enjoying hearing about it, but it's not a thing of just because we listen to stuff on a god or we watch something, it doesn't then give us that super great relationship with them. You have to work on it. And sometimes I'm asking the gods, is God of the Day doing more harm or is it doing more good? Because you have to actually take the time to work on that relationship. So I don't know. We'll eventually do it. Maybe Eris will get a video, maybe not. It's like when people that are rude ask me something, they really piss me off. And maybe various other ones will show up at some point. But it's kind of a thing of, I appreciate us wanting to talk about them. I appreciate wanting to do God of the Day, but at the same time, I'm like, I wonder if as the series goes on, I'm doing more harm than good, because I don't want to give you guys the impression that you watch a video, that's it, you're good to go, you have this great relationship. It's like, no, you actually have to do the work. I can't do the work for you. I've had, non-pagans come on the channel that kind of assume, like, just watching me is, like, doing the work for them. No, I'm sorry, sweetheart, you have to do the work on your own. You have to do the work with Loki or whoever you decide to work with. And that's the hard part of paganism, and it's the part a lot of people don't wanna do, is, like, they wanna watch someone else do the work and assume they're going to get the benefit. It doesn't work that way, I'm sorry. If you wanna have a relationship with deity, and the main benefit you're going to get is having a relationship with that deity. Yeah, I know. Then, you have to put in the work yourself. I'm sorry, but there's no way around it. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.